This exchange between Congressman Dan Goldman and Kash Patel, it's easy to get lost in the shouting, the interruptions, the heated tone. But beneath that intensity lies something far more serious, a fight over truth, accountability, and whether the American justice system still belongs to the people or to those powerful enough to hide behind it.
Those are not subject to the court order. Those are not subject to any fictional sealed order for a search warrant. Why aren't you releasing those with the redacted names of the victims? Mr. Patel, does Donald Trump appear anywhere in the Epstein files?
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
It's not a complicated question. Does Donald Trump appear anywhere in the Epstein files?
I didn't say it was a complicated question, I just didn't hear you, so my apologies. We have released where President Trump's name's in the Epstein files and everybody else, and all credible information that we are legally allowed to release has been released.
All right, so let's go through that. You're referring to court orders that prohibit you from releasing grand jury testimony under Rule 6E. Is that what you're referring to when you say as the law allows?
That's a piece of it.
Really? What other evidence do those three court orders you cited prohibit from being released?
Information that was collected pursuant to those search warrants that were limited in fashion.
Wrong. That's not what the court order says, and that's not under 6E.
And you're talking, and I said that's 6E, and I said there was others, and I'm answering that. There are sealed court order documents. There are protective orders.
They are unsealed as part of discovery given to Ghislaine Maxwell. They are no longer sealed.
That's just not true. We can argue about it all you want.
Okay, well, you agree that there are, so your testimony here is that the reason why you are not releasing all of the videos that you have acknowledged, there are so many, and that the FBI spent thousands of hours of reviewing, the photographs, the photographs that you have. You're saying that you're not releasing those because there's a court order requiring them to be sealed? Is that your testimony?
Never said that about the videos. On the totality of the videos, of the thousands of images that were seized pursuant to the search warrants executed at the time, the overwhelming majority of that video is pornographic material that was downloaded from the internet and child sexual abuse material. We will never release that.
Well, as you should not release the victims, but if there are videos that relate to others who Epstein trafficked to, such as maybe Prince Andrew, or photographs, that you have total control to release.
Yes, and if it exists.
And so why haven't you released it?
Why are you supposing that that is a fact when in fact it is false? Are you saying that
you're saying that none of the videos relate to anything relevant to the Jeffrey Epstein trafficking ring?
Every single video that we have collected pursuant to the prior search warrants has been examined for the last 10 years. And every single video has been utilized for whatever prosecutions were able to be legally brought.
I'm not asking about prosecutions. I'm asking about why you aren't releasing the full Epstein files, including the names of people who were involved in the sex ring that you promised to do before you became FBI director.
I just told you, I'm not going to release downloaded porn.
I'm not asking about that. Fine. I'm asking about all the other files.
What other videos? Tell me. Tell me.
That's what I'm asking.
Tell me.
You're saying there are no videos that would be relevant to anyone else involved in the Jeffrey Epstein sex ring.
Pursuant to Mr. Acosta's collection of information based on the search warrants. That's all we have in our possession.
And I'm asking you, that stuff.
That's all we got.
I'm not asking all you got. I'm asking you in that stuff, there's nothing that's related to any other sex traffic, any other people engaged with Epstein in underage sex.
That's correct. To my knowledge, no.
Okay. Let's talk about the witness interviews. 302s of witness interviews. Those are not subject to the court order. Those are not subject to any fictional sealed order for a search warrant. Why aren't you releasing those with the redacted names of the victims?
We are releasing as much as legally allowed. That's why we went back to
how
the
is
courts.
How is that not legally allowed?
Sir, do you know how court orders work? Do you know how protective orders
Actually,
work?
Mr. Patel, I was a real prosecutor for 10 years. I know exactly how.
So I was a fake one?
And I want to understand what the court order prevents you from releasing witness statements that the FBI took.
You should know that as a real prosecutor, when the court hand downs a protective order and a motion to seal, the material is sealed unless that judge waives it.
Your testimony here is that all of those witness statements are under a court order, a protective order.
We are providing everything we can legally provide.
No, that's not my question. My question is, why are those witness statements that are not grand jury testimony, that if they were under a protective order are no longer under a protective order, Why are they not being released?
How are they not under protective
Why
order?
are you not going to the court like you did for the grand jury testimony to unseal those
The
records?
DOJ did go to the court.
No, not on those records. Why aren't you going? You just went on grand jury.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
You are hiding the Epstein files,
Time
Mr.
of the
Patel.
gentleman has expired.
You are part of the cover-up.
Can I respond?
You sure can.
Any allegations that I'm a part of a cover-up to protect child sexual trafficking and victims of human trafficking and sexual crimes is patently and categorically false, and the work of my
So I hope you will talk to them when they have
Gentlemen's time has
requested
expired.
to speak with you. Because the
Gentlemen's time has
victims have
expired. Gentleman
requested
yields
and you are
back.
not responding to them.
Dan Goldman, a Democrat from New York and a former federal prosecutor, isn't just asking questions for the cameras. He's performing an essential function of democracy, demanding transparency from power. He's looking straight into the eyes of a man, Kash Patel, who once operated at the heart of the Trump-era intelligence and justice apparatus, and he's asking, what are you keeping from us? What are you refusing to show the American people about Jeffrey Epstein and the people tied to him? Now, to understand the gravity of that, we have to step back. The Epstein scandal wasn't just another criminal case. It was a mirror reflecting everything broken in how America handles wealth, influence, and justice. Here was a man accused of trafficking minors, operating a global network of abuse, and yet somehow, for years, he moved untouched, protected by circles of privilege that extended into politics, finance, even royalty. And that's what makes this moment so critical, because the question Goldman raises, why are the Epstein files still sealed, is really a question about who our laws are designed to protect. Are they built to protect victims, or do they bend to shield the powerful who exploit them? Kash Patel's responses tell their own story. He speaks of legal limits, of sealed court orders, of what can and cannot be released under the law. But behind the technical language, you can sense the deflection. He leans on procedure to avoid answering a moral question. Goldman's frustration isn't just about the files. It's about the culture of secrecy that's long surrounded the Epstein case. Because let's be honest, for decades, we've watched how power insulates itself. When the powerful commit crimes, the machinery of justice slows down, drags its feet, or suddenly becomes too complicated. When the powerless do the same, justice moves swiftly and mercilessly. That's not conspiracy, it's history. So when Goldman pushes Patel to clarify why witness statements, videos, and non-sensitive records are still hidden, he's doing more than probing bureaucracy. He's demanding an end to the silence that has always protected predators with deep pockets and deep connections. He's voicing what many Americans already feel, that the system doesn't just fail, it selectively fails. And there's a painful irony here. The victims of Epstein's crimes were silenced for years. Now, even after his death, their pursuit of truth is still being met with walls of secrecy. They've asked for answers. They've asked for acknowledgement. But what they're getting is paperwork, procedural excuses, and men like Patel who speak about legality while sidestepping morality. The power of Goldman's line of questioning lies in how it exposes this tension. It forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth that legality and justice are not the same thing. Something can be legal, yet still profoundly unjust. The law can be followed to the letter, yet betray the very people it's supposed to serve. Goldman wasn't just challenging Patel, he was challenging that entire mindset. Because if the government can decide when transparency applies and when it doesn't, if the names and connections of powerful figures involved in crimes like these can be buried indefinitely, then what separates accountability from cover-up? Patel insists that nothing relevant remains hidden, that there are no videos implicating others, that every file of significance has already been reviewed. But the problem is, the public no longer trusts those assurances. Too many times we've been told everything has been released, only to discover later that it hadn't. Too many times we've heard no one is above the law, only to see the law bend in favor of the influential. So when Goldman accuses Patel of being part of a cover-up, the sting of that accusation doesn't come from partisanship. It comes from a moral exhaustion shared by millions of Americans. People are tired of secrets, tired of backroom deals, tired of believing that the truth only applies to the powerless. That's what this confrontation represents, not just two men debating, but a symbolic struggle over what kind of country we are. Do we accept that justice can be tiered, that transparency is optional? Or do we demand that even the most uncomfortable truths be brought into daylight, no matter who they implicate? The Epstein case isn't just about one predator. It's about the networks that enabled him and the silence that still protects them. It's about how systems of power intertwine, how accountability dissolves when privilege enters the equation. Goldman's questioning brings us closer to that realization, reminding us that secrecy breeds complicity. What makes this moment deeply human is the empathy at its core. It's not about political points, it's about people. It's about the victims whose trauma is compounded every time justice hides behind procedure. It's about citizens who deserve to trust their government, who deserve to know that truth isn't negotiable. And that's the message viewers should take away. Transparency isn't a partisan demand, it's a democratic one. The call for justice doesn't belong to Democrats or Republicans. It belongs to every person who believes that power should never grant immunity. So as you reflect on this hearing, ask yourself, what kind of justice do we want in America? One that shields the connected, or one that exposes the truth no matter how uncomfortable it is? This moment between Goldman and Patel isn't just another headline, it's a test of our moral courage as a nation. And if we want to pass it, we must keep watching, keep asking, and keep demanding. Because real justice, true accountability, doesn't happen quietly. It happens when we refuse to let silence win. So stay informed, stay vocal, speak up for transparency, for accountability, and for every victim who was silenced by power. Because democracy depends on it, and truth deserves the light.